Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do.
Just what to do, just what to do.
If what you're feeling is really true.
Is really true, is it really true?
Just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito Show. Everyone and anyone who knows me knows I am the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smart ass than a dumbass. Because, guys, over 33 years ago, I was a dumbass. But I can honestly say now, 33 years later, through the grace of God, I'm now a smart ass. Yes, the word ass is in the Bible at least 40 times, and it means donkey, and that's what I was. I'm saying all that to say this, so many people are still struggling with addiction, and it doesn't matter what kind of addiction, okay? It could even be gambling, sex, food, whatever it is. And I want to let everybody out there know someone is listening, okay? I'm a nutritional health coach. I'm also a recovery coach. All my services to you are free. If you think my book can help someone, because I sure do, you can go right to Simon & Schuster's bookstore, Archway Publishing, BAM, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and you can go to the Geri Petito Show YouTube channel and subscribe, please. And you can go to my website, www.geripetito.com. And guys, listen, if you truly, truly, truly cannot afford my book, please reach out to me about that as well. I'm here to help. Before I introduce my incredible guest, I would like to give a shout out to a few of my sponsors. First, I have Stormin Norman Selden, 732-245-4777, www.storminnormanselden.com, booking dozens of attractions for concerts and performances on venues of all sizes. Guys, he's got a 5 to 12-piece band. He is an incredible keyboardist, pianist. He's off the charts, okay? And a lot of people didn't know this, but he helped Larry Chance from the Earls, the song Remember Then, get started back in the day. Larry Chance, I love you. I miss you. Rest in peace, my friend. Then I've got Johnny Bishop, a.k.a. Johnny B., singer-songwriter, host of the Entertainment Luncheon South, a nonprofit network created for the creative. Okay? Then, Gene DiNapoli. Okay? He's an ETA, an Elvis tribute artist, and he's got a show coming up June 8th at 2 p.m., the Sellersville Theater, Summer Serenade with Chris Ruggiero, everybody. Chris is off the charts. Call 215-257-5808. Then June 9th, 3 p.m., Grun Center for the Arts, Toms River, New Jersey, Summer Serenade with Chris Ruggiero. And then June 14th at 7:30 p.m., the Sellersville Theater, Sal, The Voice, Valentinetti, America's Got Talent, 215-257-5808. All right? So, guys, I just want to let everybody out there know that my guest here to me is a hero, okay? So I just want Lisa to say hello to everyone. Lisa, properly introduce yourself, please.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Regina. I'm an actress, I'm a filmmaker, and most importantly, I'm an advocate. I started my nonprofit, a Right to Heal. I always do that, Geri, so
I
they
love
know
that.
it's
WRI, guys, right. Go ahead.
Right to Heal. I started my nonprofit in 2006, following my assault, which was April 2nd, 2005. Congratulations on your survival, Geri. And I think we all have survival stories of some sort. Mine was really life-altering, and I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to have grown into an advocate, and currently I'm working a lot with veterans. That's my logo.
Hold that thought, Lisa. I have a question for you. Do you speak of it? Are you able to tell us what trauma you went through?
Yeah. I had been with someone in the industry. I was his acting coach. I was his colleague. We worked together on plays, in films, and then we got involved after working together. As most people in the industry, because you spend many hours on set, you're in that world. And it was 2 months away from our wedding. I actually had a wedding planned, a wedding dress fitted, and we had the venue picked out, everything. And we were in his vehicle leaving New York City from my apartment, heading to see my family to actually celebrate our engagement. And he had one of his episodes where he would lose his temper. And this time he struck me. He got physical this time. He had been verbally abusive in the past, but that was the first time that he struck me, and I was assaulted, thrown from the vehicle on Houston Street about 1:30 in the afternoon on a Friday. I think it was a Friday afternoon. And it's amazing how many people are on the sidewalk at that time and how many people walked over my body. And only one woman stopped to help me, and she was from California. No New Yorkers stopped. It was really, I'm laughing, but it's not funny. But it's the one thing that all these years later, I still can't get over. Because the way I was raised, my father, my mother raised us, you're not a bystander. If someone needs help, you help.
Wait, Lisa, first of all, I didn't know all this, so I'm in a little bit of shock, and thank you for sharing. People need to hear this, so I want to share something with you real quick, and then I'll have you continue. First of all, I'm a New Yorker, okay? And I had a juvenile delinquent card at 10 years old for beating up bullies. And I was tiny. I'm only 5'3" now. I was this tiny little thing. My brother was over 200 pounds at 11 years old. And these bullies were huge and mean. And I knew they were going to end up killing me, but I didn't care. I used to say to God, I just want to get one shot in. God, it's okay if I die. I don't care. And I ended up in court. And I called the Long Island City Police Department recently because I want that JD card as a souvenir. And they said, we would too. We're going to try to help you get it.
Oh, wow.
And one last story, just to confirm what she's saying, how crazy it is with people. And remember, I'm 5'3", guys. I was at a local supermarket in Hamilton, and they hire a lot of disabled people, which is beautiful. And they wear orange vests, and they do the carts and all that. I get out of my car, and I hear screaming from the parking lot, and I see this white young guy in an orange vest, big. I'm talking, Lisa, he had to be 6 feet tall, but he was disabled, okay, mentally disabled. He's screaming across the parking lot, and there's a small young black guy in an orange vest holding on to these carts for dear life. He was running at him screaming. Not one person, men were walking, looking at it, and kind of rushing off. I ran. My instinct was just like, I ran, got in front of this kid. He's grabbing me for dear life, and he comes at me. He could have killed me. Came at me, Lisa, in my face, and all I could think of doing was I put my finger up and said, but you're being bad. And God had his hand in this, Lisa, because he went like this at me and then ran off. And everybody was okay. We got the kids' parents and all that. But when you just told this,
did that. That's very brave.
No,
but it could have been worse.
But it wasn't even being brave. It was an instinct. Like you're saying, no one stopped. How could no one stop? They just walked over you. So now he took off.
He left me. I was unconscious on the sidewalk, and as I was coming to, this woman was holding me. And I'll never forget that day because from my point of view, lying on the ground, I could see a cab, and I could see a man's feet inside the cab. The door was open. And he was screaming at her, the woman that was helping me, get in the effing cab. And she's saying, I can't leave her. I can't leave her. And he's going, you don't know her. You don't owe her anything. And she said, I can't. He shut the cab door and took off. So this was the woman that was helping me. That was her partner. That was her,
Oh my gosh.
right? And those moments are so vivid for me. You know, trauma is a strange thing because you block out certain memories, parts of your memory, because your body, your mind is trying to protect itself.
How old were you, Lisa, about then?
Well, it was 2005.
Okay.
I'm turning 64 next month.
Oh, I'm turning 64 in March. Cool. All
Oh,
right.
okay.
So how old were you
So,
then about?
so do the math. 2005 from 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So continue.
It's been years. But I think the most important part of the story is that I'm alive. You know, I could have hit my head on the sidewalk and been killed or, you know, maybe disabled for the rest of my life. I'm grateful to be alive. And I was at a crossroads in my life after this happened because I was an actress in the entertainment industry. And my story very sensationalized because of the person I was engaged to and who assaulted me. And I never mention his name because I don't want
That's
to shine
okay.
light on.
That's okay. Did you end
No.
it? Was it end? Was that the
Oh
moment
yeah.
it was
Oh
ended?
yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
It was, you know, went to court
Got
and
it. Okay. Okay, Lisa.
pulled out and, you know, moved on with my life
Okay.
and had to rebuild my body, my mind, my career, my whole entire existence. I had to rebuild. And I was given a choice to do this cheesy reality show, which would have really exploited domestic violence. And I knew when I sat down with the producer, I knew that it was against my grain. I was like, this is definitely not me. And I kept trying to, you know, kind of sway the producer back towards, let's do something educational. You know, I want to be an advocate. I want to educate other, you know, women and people on domestic violence and the signals to look for. And he was like, there's no money in that. There's no money in education. Let's do a reality show with you. You know, I like you. You're spunky. You're fun. I was like, yeah, but that's exploiting the issue. That's not raising awareness. And he said, well, there's no money in that. And, you know, I left there and it was a pretty big name producer who probably, you know, like he said, well, you went to New York University. I'm sure you have student loans. Don't you want to be debt free? Yes, but not at the price of selling my soul to the devil, you know.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
So I went on this path of advocacy, started my nonprofit, A Right to Heal, became a keynote speaker for the YWCA. That was an amazing experience. I spoke at the Women's World Globe in Switzerland, in Zurich, Switzerland. It was amazing. Thousands of women at this World Globe Council, you know. And I wrote a couple monologues that were based on my assault, based on my story. And I went out as a one-woman show and performed. High schools, universities, the University of Dartmouth, Mass, Keene University, all throughout New York, New Jersey, across the country. I was in Nebraska, Grand Island, Nebraska High School. Just, it was really part of my healing. By helping others, it helped me to heal as well. And I became stronger and I became less ashamed of what happened to me because when you feel alienated and ashamed, that's a deadly combination. And thank God I had family. My family was so supportive, my friends. The people that I thought were my friends in the entertainment industry, they disappeared, of course. The ones that were true blue friends are still my friends to this day. Some are in the business, some are actors, producers. But I'm proud of the person that I became out of something very, very awful, you know, very, very horrible, very traumatic. Because the more I helped other people, even if it was one high school student at a high school where I was speaking, you know, or one woman who came up to me and said, I was raped 40 years ago and never spoke of it until now. Like, I have so many stories. It just empowered me because I knew I was helping them. And in turn, it made me stronger. And it really inspired me to continue moving forward with my advocacy work. And then about 12 years ago, approximately, I was teaching an acting workshop because by trade, I'm an acting coach. That's what I've been doing for 30 some years. I met a veteran, a dear friend of mine in New York City, Barry Morgenstein. He's a top headshot photographer. He called me. I would hold acting workshops at his studio in New York. And he said, I have a veteran. She's a retired Army captain. She wants to take your acting class. And I was like, sure, have her call me. And she called and we had a conversation. And she said, I've always wanted to do this. She said, do you know I have a service dog? I'm legally blind and I'm left leg amputee. She said, and on my bucket list, I've always wanted to take an acting class.
Wow.
Yes, Captain Leslie Nicole Smith. She's retired. She's a Gary Sinise ambassador. Beautiful lady. She's been on Katie Couric. She's been on Project Runway when they had the veteran special. So I talked to her and she took my class. Of course, I said, there's never a fee for you. No way. You paid the greatest sacrifice, you know. You put your life on the line for us, for our freedoms. And she took my class, and in front of 30 actors in this workshop, she blew us away. Geri, she was so comfortable on camera. She was bright smile, beautiful, positive energy, just comfortable. And I felt like an idiot because the first thing I said to her, I said, I gave her like a commercial copy to do, and I'm looking at her, and I said, Leslie, excuse my ignorance. I need you to look inside the camera lens. How do you know where to look, like what direction to look? And she smiled and she said, well, I hear your voice, and I suppose you're sitting behind the camera lens. And I was like,
Oh my
yes.
goodness. That's amazing.
So that experience, Geri, is what really got me involved with veterans because number one, I was blown away by her courage, by her ability to just in front of a group of actors, get on camera, completely flawless, her delivery. She was so comfortable. And I became really good friends with her. And I said to her, you know what, Leslie, I'm producing and directing a short film. We're shooting in Queens, New York. I would love to write you into it. You're perfect for the role of this counselor who's counseling a veteran. And she said, I would love to do it. So she came all the way up from Fredericksburg, Virginia, took the train out to Astoria where we were filming.
Oh, I grew up there too, Long Island City and Astoria. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. And she stayed with us 14 hours on set. And after 14 hours, you know, I had a hotel room ready for her, meal, you know, ready to go. She grabbed my hand. She had tears in her eyes. She's like, Lisa, I appreciate you getting me the room, but I am so inspired. I can't sleep. I'm so excited. I haven't felt this camaraderie since, I still get emotional. I'm sorry. I haven't felt this camaraderie since I served. I'm going home tonight. I can't sleep. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, are you sure? And she's like, yes, believe me. I said, text me when you get in, because I knew she would be getting in like 4:30 in the morning
Who
or something.
drove her?
She had a firefighter that drove her back to Penn Station. She took the train back to DC, then a car service to Fredericksburg. This
Okay.
is, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, amazing. So that night I couldn't sleep either because I kept repeating that experience over and over. And I'm like, oh my God, if she felt this way, I wonder if other veterans would feel this way, you know? And the light bulb went off and I just started to develop this project program where I'm like, every time I shoot a film, whether it's a short film, whether the budget is 5,000 or 50,000, whatever the budget, I'm going to hire veterans as cast, as crew, as consultants, and that's what I did. And the next couple of film projects that I did that with, every veteran had the same response. They love the camaraderie. They love the teamwork. They love the energy of being part of, you know, the production crew and cast. They just loved it. And for me as a director, it gave me a feeling of, oh wow, I feel safe. I can focus on the monitor. I could do my job. I don't have to worry about transportation, who's going where, if they're safe, if the set is locked up. These men and women, these military men and women, were the best cast and crew I ever had. They were amazing. And that's what inspired the Veterans Drone Training Program that I just implemented at Atlantic Cape Community College in Atlantic County, South Jersey, New Jersey. Last year, Senator Cory Booker's office was able to get me a grant through congressional funding. Atlantic County Economic Alliance, they were instrumental in applying for the grant on behalf of my nonprofit. And my nonprofit was awarded the grant, so that right now, currently, we have 12 veterans going through drone training. They'll test for their Part 107 license, and then when they pass the test and graduate, each one will receive a drone, like a $4,200 drone. So it gives them a start, to however they want to use that drone, whether it's in the film industry or real estate, search and rescue, whatever industry they choose using that drone. So that's where I am now. And of course, as any other nonprofit, we're looking for our next grant because we want the veterans drone training to continue.
So, all right, before we talk a little bit more and I ask you some questions, tell everyone like all the information they'll need if they do want to and how to get in touch with you and donations and all that. Let's do that now.
Thank you. The nonprofit is Write, WRITETO, Heal, a right to heal.com. I'm easy to find, lisaregina.com. And also donations can be made on a right to heal.com.
And it's
a
WRITE.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's a 501c3. All donations are tax write-off. And I have a great board. My board of directors, I have a retired Colonel John Schleifer. Dr. Pam Arnell from 220 organization is on my board. My husband is on my board. I got married 2 years ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm a newlywed.
Wow.
But I'm just really excited about all the work we're doing. And the most important thing is the 12 veterans that are currently in the drone training class. It's amazing. We have such a diverse group of veterans in there. We have a Vietnam veteran. We have a female veteran who's also a nurse at the VA in Philadelphia. We have combat veterans, all branches of service, all wars. It's a very eclectic group. But what I find, it's not surprising. They bonded immediately. They're helping each other study for the Part 107. And I know that test is hard because 2 years ago, I became a Part 107 commercial drone pilot. And it's a tough test. So they really have that camaraderie and that bond. And I really admire that, the way they look out for each other. And they look out for me as well. I mean, they're appreciative. They're grateful. And every veteran that I've met over the past, over 10 years of my work that's focused on veterans, when they come back home, they're looking to serve their community. They just have that innate desire to serve. And to me, that's a small percentage, just like yourself, not being a bystander. It's a very small percentage of people that want to serve or want to help. And it's a shame it's not more, but hey, I'm grateful for those that do.
Wow. All right. So, I want to ask you a couple questions. So, your story is just amazing to me. A lot of women are out there struggling in abusive relationships. And a lot of women have access to getting out of it. Family members say, I'm here, come move in with me, come home. But they stay. Do you have any advice for these people, whether they're men or women, whatever?
Yes, call me, email me, reach out to me, because I understand the cycle and how that cycle is perpetuated. And I also understand how you can miss those little signs. You know, it usually starts with emotional verbal abuse, and then it escalates to that
Yes.
physical violence. And oftentimes that physical violence will end in death.
Yeah.
And it's really important to recognize how crucial it is to get out early before it escalates to that. For me, that physical assault was one and done.
Right.
Because I was grateful to be alive.
Yes.
I had a fractured pelvis, concussion, contusions, black eye, the hospital released me with a bag of drugs. I would have been a drug addict if it wasn't for family and friends coming to rescue me. Because of who he was, the hospital did not want the paparazzi, bringing that attention into their hospital. And they just wanted to get rid of me. And when I was released from the hospital, they just gave me a bag of drugs, sent me home, and I was still in a state of shock. My pupils were the size of saucers. So thank God my sister, who's no longer with us, my sister recognized it in my voice immediately. She's like, she knew I was gone. I wasn't making sense. I was rambling. I was out of it. And thank God she sent friends and family to rescue me. Because I was barricaded in my New York City apartment, 5-story walk up. Paparazzi was ringing my door. They were leaving really horrible messages like, we found a sex tape and we're going to release it. And they were trying to bait me to pick up the phone. And they were beating me up further, if you will. They were really horrible, the media, because I was in a state of shock. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I was on the bathroom floor vomiting. It was not a good time. So for anyone that is struggling in it, I know how scary it can be. I know how frightening it can be. And I really, really mean this from my heart. Email me, reach out to me. I've had men and women reach out to me. Of course, the statistics show it's mostly women because an abuser will prey on someone who's weaker. A woman is smaller, weaker than a man. It's really that bullying that you spoke of is pretty much, it's a bully. Anyone, that's 295 that's going to, handle someone physically or assault someone that's, 5'2" or 5'3", that's
Right.
just cowardly. But that's the mentality and that's the cycle of it. It's all about control. It's all about, taking physical and emotional control. And it is hard to get out of it. You need help to get out of it,
So, hurt people hurt people.
Yes.
So,
So true.
a young African American guy from Trenton, New Jersey owns a piece of my heart, and he wrote a documentary called Hurt People Hurt People. His name is Ricardo Richard. And I said to him years later, now we need to write something about healed people heal people. And he wrote a book and titled it that. It's out
I
now.
love it. Oh, I have to get that. I
Ricardo
love it.
Richard. You have to check it out, okay? Check him out.
Yes, I will. Thanks for sharing that.
Yes. So now, I want you to share something about the vets, okay? So, I've interviewed a lot of people that do a lot of things for the veterans, and
Yeah.
I have veterans in my family, of course, blah, blah, blah. I don't feel like we're really doing enough. Talk to me a little bit about that.
That is so frustrating. We could sit here for hours talking
Yeah.
about what our government and what we should be doing for our veterans when they come home, and we will get aggravated and frustrated. So I kind of have this belief that, okay, I can't fix the government. I can't fix that they're not taking care of our veterans, but I can do something, but I can do more. And I think if more people kind of just said, okay, they're not taken care of. We see it. We've seen it for decades. So what can we do? And I think my connection came through that friendship, that unexpected friendship with Gary Sinise's ambassador,
Okay.
retired Army Captain Leslie Nicole Smith and her service dog Isaac. I love her so much. And we shared our own individual stories of trauma, and trauma is trauma.
Yeah.
And I always say this, in no way do I ever try to compare like my assault to her trauma, losing her leg and her sight, or to any other veteran who has fought a war for us. But the way we respond to trauma, the way it impacts us physically,
Yes.
emotionally, neurologically, is all the same.
Your trauma is just as severe as her trauma. Absolutely.
So that very thing has been the bonding between myself and veterans. So when I sit down, like my first interview, I've interviewed veterans of all branches of service, all wars. When I sat down with my first interview 12 years ago with, a Vietnam veteran, and he said, "What the hell do you know about Nam?" And I said, "Nothing. But I do know a little bit about PTSD." And I told him about my story and my assault. And before I could even finish my story, he grabbed my hand and he said, "You survived your own war. Let's talk." And then we got into this deep conversation, and his wife came up to me afterwards and she said, "Oh my God, he's never told anyone that." And I said, "Well, I think our bonding moment was when I shared my survival of my
Right.
assault, and trauma is trauma." I said, "And I'm glad and I'm grateful for him and his story, and that he shared it, because it taught me something
Right.
about Vietnam. It taught others who I shared it with."
Yep.
And it was just really, really amazing moment. And every single interview with a veteran that I've had, like the Montfort Point Marines, the first Black Marines, I interviewed like 6 or 7 Montfort Point Marines, ranging from age 96 to 98. And it was just amazing, because hearing an older Black man talk about him being 18 years old, Black, in the military
Yeah.
during that time, it's mind blowing. It's just a
Amazing.
different time. You don't realize it. And these stories are so important because they teach us. And that's why history is so important, because I would have never learned that if I didn't have that opportunity to talk to those gentlemen, these brave Montfort Point Marines.
I have a question for you. I'm not sure if you can answer it, but if anyone could, I think it would be you. So, okay, I have a hard time with how we treat our veterans, okay?
Yeah.
My uncle and my dad's family came from Italy back in the day, blah, blah. They all became U.S. citizens the right way. I actually went last year with one of my producers here to all the borders in Yuma, Arizona. And we spent 5 days with the Border Patrol, with Sheriff Department, blah, 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 blah. And I also traveled the world in my 20s and 30s and 40s, and I went, when it was communism, in Russia and China for 30 days and had machine guns pointed at me at the walls. Okay, I did this all for a reason, but here's my question to you. Why, how on earth do we treat our vets the way we're treating them? My uncle said, even though he was from Italy, that he became a Marine because America is his country, and he is so proud of it. We don't have that attitude anymore. Now, why do we treat our vets the way we treat them? Shouldn't they come first? So why? Why?
I don't know where or how that started, but it disgusts me, and I don't know. I just think it's like it's kind of like we use them. They had their purpose. Done. Move on. And it's horrible. These are human beings with spouses, with children, with siblings, with parents. It's horrible. It's just not. I don't even know. It just it inspires me to do more. It inspires me to do as much as I can do. And, following Leslie being on my film set, and then the next couple films when I had those veterans, this big brawly Vietnam veteran, long white beard. I had some some of them were on motorcycles. They belonged to warrior watch riders, He came up to me and he said, "Can I hug you?" And I said, "Absolutely." He gave me a big bear hug and he said, "We feel forgotten." He
Yeah.
said, I felt completely forgotten. Today was amazing. He
See?
said, I would do this every day. And I'm like, you know, right now, my frustration, Jerry, is I need that big sponsor. Like I want to go to Gary Sinise and have a conversation. I want to say, let's partner, let's do something because this works. Vets on sets, it works. And they love it. It's the camaraderie. It's a great job. It's fun. I mean, and they are a great asset to any filmmaker, any director, any production. And it's not just a film set, but I mean, in the corporate world, like the percentage of veterans that are, um, you know, that should be working at these high level jobs. I mean, a lot of them are. You don't realize that they're CEOs of companies.
Okay.
It's because they have the discipline. It's because they have that ability to stay committed on course. But the ones that come home and need the help,
Right.
it's like me. If I didn't have my sister send family and friends to get me, I'd be dead. I wouldn't be here. I would be dead. And I've never been addicted to drugs. I've never been that person in my past, but that trauma had me in a state of shock. Like I said, my eyes were the size of saucers, my pupils. I was reaching for whatever they gave me.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't even know what it was. It was like, oh, this is making me feel good. What's this?
Wow.
I would have became an addict. I probably would have OD'd because I had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't really coherent. I wasn't thinking, clearly. And if it wasn't for my sister doing that, I would not be here. So imagine the reason why I bring that up again. Imagine a veteran coming home with the traumas that
Right.
he or she has seen or experienced, the great loss, their friends, their brothers to their left and right, the loss, the devastation, um, physical injuries, emotional injuries, and you're just kind of left to deal with it. And then you have to deal with a system that's not giving you the benefits you
Right.
deserve, not giving you the treatment, and then you have to wait 6 months to even see a therapist. I mean, it's a mess.
A mess.
It's a mess. And I just think, how can we do that? It's not kind. It's not humane. It's not.
No.
It's horrible.
No. Wow.
So thank God for people like Joe Mantegna, who I've had conversations with. He endorsed our project, Heroic Episodes, and the Veterans Drone Training Program. What a man! I love him as an actor, of course. But aside from that, he's not my hero because he's an actor.
Right.
He's hero because he cares about veterans. He's a patriot. He's a good man. He's a good human being. Gary Sinise, the same type of person. That's how we make a difference. People like yourself, people that care. If it bothers you enough, then what can you do about it? What can you do?
Wow.
I know.
Wow. This is amazing.
I just interviewed a veteran who, when he shared his story with me, and I heard in detail, vivid detail, how many times he was blown up, he was injured, and how many friends he lost to his left and his right in front of his eyes. I was just like, I couldn't even speak when he was done. I was like, oh my God, to survive that, the human spirit is resilient. We are resilient, but we still need help. Everybody needs help.
Yep.
And it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's like, to me, that's why I believe we're here. That's what I believe my purpose is. And I believe that's why I'm here. And that's why God said, I'm going to allow you to live and survive this assault because there's a purpose for you.
Well, I just have to say something to you about that. 100%. I mean, all right, I'm going to share a little bit about my story real quick. God woke me up in the middle of the night in 2016, and I'm not kidding you. And I heard, as loud as can be, write your book. And I kind of giggled, and I said, you want me to write a book? And he goes, write your book. So I giggled and said, okay. So I believe God wrote my book because my book was written, I revised it in 2020, but in 2016 it was a lot smaller than this, but it was written in 3 weeks and I hand wrote it because I wasn't good with the computer. Called a friend of mine whose uncle was a publisher. He's gone now. She came over, got my book in the computer the right way, and she says this to me. Jerry, we could send it to about 20 different publishers. They may like it, they may not. It could take years. I said, oh, no. I said, Simon & Schuster, God wrote the book. She laughed. She laughed and said, okay. I said, do me a favor, put your number on it with me just because of the tech part, so we'll... 5 days later, I kid you not, my mouth to God's ears, I'm on a phone with her and Simon & Schuster. This beautiful woman said, we love your book and we're publishing it. I'm telling you that for a reason. God
Amen.
wrote the book. And if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here. And now I realize this was why, not just for the book, but even, do you know how many people I reach out to try to help, right? And the
Your
same thing with
purpose.
you. It's our purpose. And I say to people all the time, find your purpose because we all have one.
Yeah, we do.
We
If you're
all,
listening, you have to listen, right?
you have to listen. We all have one. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to read a poem to you now out of my book. I actually switched it to a different poem, but I'm going to go back to the original one because of us
Right.
talking about our purpose. All right?
Awesome.
Let me find that one now because I took the thing out. All right, hold on a minute. Bear with me all right, here it is. You know what? It's called Utilizing Gifts and Talents, okay? And it's finding our purpose. We are born with talents. We are born with drive, with different gifts to help us thrive. I knew early on I was born to draw and paint, to also write poetry, and to talk without restraint. Our gifts and talents should all be used. God's gift to us, not be abused. We can go far in life for sure using our gifts to go on tour. All our talents should be used to create ourselves and more, but then our job's to share them, to even up the score. You see, in life, what's needed is not just for ourselves. Once our gifts are mastered, take them off the shelves. A living we can make by spreading them around, not just for the money, but to spread a peaceful sound. Don't take for granted the gifts you're given. Go out and spread the joy. Our gifts are not to be held back for us to self-destroy. Put your efforts forth. Do not hesitate. All your talents, my friend, are never second rate. Never hold them back or you will surely die. Maybe not in body, but your soul will cry. Our gifts were made to share, our talents made to soar. Go through life enlightened and then you can roar. Be proud of who you are. Be happy you're alive. Once again, my friend, your gifts will help you thrive. By putting efforts forth, not keeping them at bay, your name, Lisa Regina, will live forever, baby, forever and a day. So go through life excited for what you sure can give to yourself and others is our reason to live. Our grave will be quite lonely, but our legacy lives on. So make sure people smile with the breaking dawn. And Lisa,
I love that.
that's what
Thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful.
thank you. That's what you're doing. That's what you're
Thank-
doing. You're making them smile. You're making them feel alive again. You're making them
Yeah.
feel like they have worth. Thank you so
And-
much. You are a hero to me.
Oh, thank you. And I'm getting all that right back from that, from that. It comes right back and it makes me feel amazing and stronger and empowered. And you're inspiring to write my book. I've been told for years.
Do it, girl. Do it.
Write a book. And I've been putting it off. I do have a collection of journals, video journals, writings. I have my spoken word pieces, but you're inspiring me to write the book.
Well, you're inspiring me, and I'm going to tell you how. Okay, so I've always been a person. I never dealt with depression and any of that, and I've always been happy and always looked at the bright side of everything. To the point of where I would tell people would say, "Jer, stop smiling, stop giggling, stop laughing. Why are you always so happy?" Okay, so the last few years, I got to admit, really took a toll on me. Like everyone, like it's done to everyone. And when I was in my 20s and I went to these countries, and I'll tell you a little story and then I'll lead to what I was just going to say to you. When I was in Russia, for instance, and again, I was in my 20s,
Wow.
we were not allowed to talk to any Russians except our Russian tour guide. She was the only one. We weren't allowed to have their money, and I have it. I brought it home in my bra. I got it. Craziness. But anyway, what happened was I'm in the park one day, and they wanted us to go. We had a free afternoon. This park had the biggest church in Russia, and there was a guard up there with a gun, and he wouldn't let anyone in except for little old people because they weren't a threat to them. Okay? So, a family sitting on a park bench. It was a grandmother, her daughter, and her daughter. And then she was holding an infant also. So, 3 generations.
Wow.
And I talked to everyone, and I didn't care. So I went up to them smiling, and we're talking, and I showed them a picture of my daughter, who was young at the time. And the mom took out plastic earrings out of her ears and put them in my hand and said, "For you, baby."
Aw.
Okay. So I took little diamond stud earrings out of mine, and I put them in her hand, and I said, "For your baby." And the guard, sweeping up, they were all KGB, came running at us with a gun, grabbed the diamond earrings out of her hand, threw them back in mine, and said, "Go."
Wow.
All right, and I'm telling you that for a reason,
No kindness allowed.
okay? The impact devastated me, but I never really got it until I got older and realized how much freedom we had and how much they did not, okay? But when COVID hit, it really hit me how these poor people were living forever. We were just getting a taste of it,
Getting a taste of it. Yeah.
okay? And
That-
it did something to me. And I'm going to share something with you about you. I was losing hope. And for the first time in my life, I was struggling with a little bit of depression and thinking, you know, you've given me some hope today. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You've given me some inspiration.
Wow.
So I want
well,
to thank you for
inspired
that.
me Right back. Thank
I want
you.
to thank you
really.
for that, Lisa. Wow.
You're an amazing lady.
So are you.
And I'm learning so much about you, and hopefully this has a ripple effect.
I hope
because,
so.
You know, John Lennon sang "All We Need Is Love." You know, it's like, you know, it is powerful. It is one of the most powerful emotions that we hold as humans, love. And if we can just spread that love, and that's, I really think it's the only thing that can really save us. Of course, God first for me. You know, I don't
God first
push
for
that.
me. Are you kidding?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's funny how a lot is coming out now. You know, it's like the whole world needed a cleansing or something is going
agree.
on. But
Yeah.
I try not to, you know, focus on the news, the craziness.
Right.
You know, I keep myself informed and educated, but at the same time stay
Right.
focused on the mission to help
Right.
veterans, to grow the Veterans Drone Training
Right.
Program, to make heroic episodes come to
Yep.
life, which is a series that I wrote based on all these veteran stories. But it's more than that. It's about how a civilian and a veteran come together and all of a sudden change each other's lives, you know. So it's based on all these life experiences that I've had, and this is another experience that I would say is
Amazing.
definitely right up there,
This is
because I've
amazing.
enjoyed this. I love that you are inspiring and you care about others, and we need more of that.
We need more of you. I protested in Trenton a couple times, and actually my producer was with me and my daughter, and we met
Oh, wow.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It was for our constitutional rights, and we won at the time, and they're trying to change that too. I mean, it's just so crazy, you know, our freedom. I mean, it's just all insane. So
It reminds me, I'm sorry, but do you remember like the old Alfred Hitchcock movies? And do you remember the old movies, like the one where they were burning books and people
Oh,
weren't allowed
yes.
to read? I mean, you know, the very freedoms we have, you
Okay.
know, the freedom to create art, to write, to speak, to whatever, perform, you know, whatever you
Crazy,
want.
right? So
To
Lisa,
lose those freedoms would be frightening.
oh my gosh. So Lisa, we have a few minutes left. I want to give you the mic. Take as much time as you need. I want you to say whatever it is you want everybody out there to hear.
Okay. Well, A Right to Heal is my nonprofit, and it's easy to find. LisaRegina.com. I'm easy to find. If anyone needs help or if you're struggling with a domestic violence situation, reach out, please. Don't suffer alone. Oops,
You're
I
okay.
lost you.
You're okay.
Are you there?
Yeah.
I must have had a call come in.
Nope, you're okay.
Okay. And the other thing is heroic episodes and veterans drone training program. Please go to my website, read about it. Any kind of support you can offer, or if you are interested in knowing more, just reach out.
Okay, beautiful. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read another poem. This one's
Awesome.
Saved by Grace. Okay, you brought up God. We got to do it, girl.
Yes.
So many religions have surfaced today. Most of us wonder which one's the right way. Being brought up Catholic, I wasn't a fan. I always struggled with listening to man. I wasn't buying the crap that they said. My salvation's in Jesus through his blood he shed. Not sacraments and giving cash, confessional boots and Wednesday's ash. These rules they speak of are all man-made. If you open the Bible, man's words will fade. You won't find them in there because God said it clear. You won't work your way into heaven, my dear. Most big religions have put God away. They want your alliance and what you can pay. With Jesus nailed upon that cross before his last breath he took, his words were spoken for us to hear. It is finished, and left us his book. I tell you the truth, there's only one God. When you take your last breath, he'll greet you and nod. I hope you are ready to meet him that day. Want to hear him say, well done, instead of casting you away. My works are just worthless. I'd end up in hell. That's why he sent Jesus. Now in heaven, I'll dwell. There you go.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Really powerful.
Lisa, thank you so much for honoring me here today, for honoring my producers, okay? You have an incredible story, and God is absolutely using you. And keep me posted with everything that's happening and, you know, your films and all that, please. I don't want it to end here. So,
Either do I, and I appreciate the opportunity to get to meet you
Oh
and
my
talk.
gosh.
Thank you.
where do you live? What state?
I have my place on Elizabeth Street in New York City.
Okay.
Yeah. I also have my office in New Jersey. So I'm between
Where in New
York-
Jersey, Lisa? Where?
Hainesport. It's not far from Cherry Hill.
Oh, okay. We're in Hamilton, the Trenton area.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to work this out. Maybe we could have you live in studio one day. We'll plan it.
That would be awesome. I would
Okay?
love that.
All right, Lisa.
Thank you.
I want to thank you again for honoring us. You are a true hero to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody, please share this show. It's also going to be on iHeartRadio next week. I'll let you know when, Lisa. Okay?
Oh, good.
Yep,
Yes.
it'll be on iHeartRadio. All right. So, either next week or the week after, I'll let you know. Okay? So,
Okay.
Doc G, Ruben, why don't you say something to her real quick and then we'll close out. Okay? Yeah, they're trying to take the mic. Just say thank you to her. You wanted to do that earlier. Okay. Yeah. Hold on.
Okay.
They wanted to say hello to you.
Thank you, Lisa, for all you're doing.
Oh, thank you. I love it, and I'm very passionate. But thank you for the opportunity to share. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, come to the studio sometime. We'll definitely like to meet you.
I would love that. I would
Okay,
love
cool.
that. Thank you.
We'll work that out, Lee.
We'll
All
make
right.
it happen.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, producers, take us out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do.
Just what to do, just what to do.
If what you're feeling is really true.
Is it really true? Is it really true?
Just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Love's the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.